Hey guys, back again. So, it's been a long time since I have recorded anything about this project. So, we will continue. Then, we just open this, okay, just to have it there. And let me just open this one, move it, and open the other one, my other account. Okay, and have it there. Let's now go to the project terminal and say not dev. Remember, I have not dev, I don't have nodman. So I use not dev and the file name index.js, or I think index works too. And this should run the server. Okay, you can see. Okay, but yeah, it's going to complain because I don't have Laragon open. So let me just open that, start all, and I cancel this process and start it back. So you can see is a checking if the table exists. So yeah, in case the table doesn't exist, then it's going to create it. We did that last time, and I handled Multer and some other stuff last time. I can remember I have the videos uploaded to YouTube, but I think I forgot to add the description and all that, so I just will checking that after I'm done with this. So let's just continue. Let me just minimize the OBS. And I was thinking, what could we do? Let's say HTTP localhost 4000, I think it is. Yep. And we have all this. So I think we're going to check authentication first. So register and login in the next two videos. So I think I'm going to handle those in a separate way, because when we build the post functionality, we will need to set the token and all that. So I'm just going to do it as I usually would, instead of going to post and then going back to register and login. So we will, at the end of the series, have everything. We will just need to plug a registration and login back again, so we don't have to log in and register every time. But we will see how to handle that. So remember, we have the router to this register. So if I go there, I think it's auth register. You can see we have the form, and let me just open this one. It's okay, opens there. Okay, that's let me just move this one and cancel that. That should open again on the other. Yep. So it doesn't block anything here. So yeah, right now this is just the form, and let me just, well, let's just keep it without CSS, because I think that could mess with someone's head, checking the styles and all that, and you know, wouldn't be able to follow along that good. So let's say router. So let's build now all the, let me just make this bigger. Okay, let me build all these routes. So I shouldn't say get, I should say post, and let's say register. So this one is going to handle the get request for the post, and this I mean the get request for the register and the post request for the register. Okay, I missed an R there. Sorry guys, I'm a little dense still. So our controller, that this one is going to be called register. We don't have this one yet. Okay, so we will add them. So let me just go to the controllers, double, okay, no, our controller, okay, this one. We add a new entry here. Again, request response, and as we go, we will be adding this response.render. Okay, and let me just go to my controller, okay, and I was on auth. Something that I don't like is that when I click a file, it overrides what I have. So, okay, I just want to have those two on my other monitor. So, sorry about this. This is not this. Okay, so register is going to be a pain. And let's just focus on doing all this. So show login. So we just get this stuff out of the way. Login is the same, request response. Just try to type all this so you get it in your head. So we're exporting this object with all the functions inside. So we just say our controller that, and any function is going to be populated. So it's going to be easier for us. Logout, requests and response. And the last one is going to be show, if I can type correctly, dashboard. Request and response. Okay, so we have this. All the functions are in place. Okay, you can see that it tells me it's restarting. So that's something that I like. And if it shows an error, it's going to tell me where that error is. So it's going to be easier. Now let's go back to auth, and we know how to deal with the with all this stuff. So let's just paste it, and let's say register login. Okay, we just say where we want this login to be reference. We want a logout, and we say our controller, and we just use the functions we created. So you can see in case you're typing this, of course you will be typing this, it's going to show you when I say that the functions that I have. So I'm just going to hit enter to populate that. And the last one is going to be the dashboard. Instead of adding just one to just another controller or route to this, let's just add it here. You can add it inside your other routes too, whenever or wherever you like. So it's going to be user dashboard. It's the only thing that is going to have this user prepended. So I don't see any issue of adding this here. Our controller that show dashboard, and that's all. Sorry. So we have the our controller already, and of course, if I hover this, you can see it says constant our controller is an object, and it tells me everything inside that object, all the functions we just defined. Okay, so it's easier for us to get the references of anything we type here in VS Code. Okay. So let's just continue, and I already have the register, so let's go and add the login. So inside views, we need to say, okay, I just need to click this, okay, and let's say login that book, and I'm just going to copy all this. You just need to copy it, okay, extends the layout we created. This block, this next stuff is going to be inside the block named content, and this is just a HTML. Okay, I showed you last time the POC to or HTML to POC, so you can just create a section in HTML and just continue with that. but we will later have some Python stuff. So this is similar to what you will be doing with Python Flask. I mean Python itself in general. So it's going to allow you to kind of manage stuff better with other languages that require this indentation in order to work. Okay, so just try to get this in your head. Just this kind of structure. Okay, and remember we have this layout and we have the token here, the validation, okay, the if and else. The list inside the if and else need to be nested inside, okay, as you can see, and this is just regular HTML. Remember that in order to pass attributes, we just need to say to open this parenthesis and add anything we want there. We don't need to add commas, we just need to add a space in case we want to say class or something like that, okay? So yeah, it's not that hard, just maybe a little tricky to understand at first. But let's just go back. And this should be already added login. Is there a problem there? Doesn't seem like. Okay, let's just close this out. Or let's go back here. Okay. And let me just say login. Well, auth login. Okay, okay, I forgot. Sorry, I forgot. We just created the login with the HTML inside, but it's not already appended. So we just need to say show login is the same thing as show register. Remember that in Laravel and Ruby on Rails, you will need to specify inside your auth controller in case you're working in an application, okay, with I think it's Blaze, right, on Laravel, and I think it's Twig on Ruby on Rails. I can remember. So yeah, you will have this kind of functions. So the show and the for example, if we create a post, we're going to have something that shows the page that will create a post and another one that is going to handle the stuff. Okay. Well, that is in Laravel and Ruby on Rails, but this is a similar stuff that we're going to do, except that we will be able to handle unregister everything and unlogin everything that we want in order to go into the database and receiving the user, authenticated, tokens, and all that, okay? But we need this show login and show register to render the page. I should have said that instead of saying all that stuff. So we want the login. Okay, just need to add the name of the file. Okay, and let's hit save. Now let's refresh this. And you can see we have this welcome back email and password. Okay, and if I submit, of course, we have something there in the form that is the required. Okay, the required. You can see how all this is set. We don't need commas. You just separate those with the spaces. Okay, so that's pretty much it. There's nothing, you don't need to think too much about all this. We haven't done anything so far except for the routes. So you don't need to think too much in this about this stuff. Just copy that and you will see how it works as we go. Okay, there's nothing, just looks different, but it's not that bad. Okay, so what can we do now? Sorry if I lost track of some stuff. I haven't recorded in a while. Every time I don't have anything from work, I just like to chill. You know, I'm tired and I don't feel like coding, and I just want to play some games and all the stuff. I'm sure that if you work as a freelancer or in a company, you often feel the same. You just want some time for yourself. So I'm just checking. What could we do now? If we add the register, it's going to be a ton of stuff. So you know what? Let's finish these views so we plug them in inside also the posts. Okay. Yeah, let's do that because it kinda is the same. No, I don't want the models, I want the controllers. Okay. So let's do the same with the post controller. So we already have all the functions on side the auth.js, okay, and also all the routes. So let's create the functions here so we don't have to do that later. So let's say get single post. I think that is called, okay. Also request and response. I can just copy all this stuff, really. So we have a get single post. Okay, we will need a show. I thought I didn't do that, but yeah, we will need a show create, something similar to Ruby on Rails and Laravel, and create post that handles this is like the store function on Laravel, and I think it's the same on Ruby on Rails. Those two are actually kind of the same. So show create post, update post, okay, and we will need the delete, right? Okay, so that's the last one. Delete post. Okay, so remember we haven't done anything, so let's actually create the views to finish all this stuff. So the views are actually okay. What the hell is the views are actually just forms, kinda. Create a poc or pook. So let's copy this. So we don't have to deal with all this creating stuff later. So we can just focus on the real code. Okay, so we have the section with container, the same, create a new post, and we have a form. Remember that you need to match the names, okay, with the stuff that we're going to build later. So just keep an eye on the namings you add, okay? And the required, of course, we need n-type multiform from data, multipart from data, okay, in order to add the files into the request, and the action is going to go to the create. And remember that the create, well, we will do that in a bit. So let's just not mess stuff now. So let's just save that and go to our controller. No, sorry, to auth.js. I just wanted to check something. I think I just got lost in this stuff. Oh, no, I wanted to show you the login. So we're going to go to out login. Okay, let me just go to auth.js. So this should be the part of the controller that is going to receive the post request, okay, that handles everything as well as the register. Because I think I didn't show this in the last video. So the out register is going to go to the post inside the controller and handle all this stuff, okay? That's just what is going on. You can also see the method, and this is where it's going to land. So inside our controller is going to land inside the register, okay? And let me just show you in the routes. The routes should be, okay. So it's going to land inside this one, okay? The one on line 7. So you kind of have an idea of what is going on. So every time we submit a form, it's going to land on one of the routes we have for post on register, post on login, and on the posts itself or themselves, we're going to handle the post create inside a create inside this one, okay? But just don't mess this up. This is the name of the function, and what the form is going to take is the name of the route, okay? So the route is going to go to our register as a post request register, and then the register is going to go to our controller register to find the functionality that it needs to trigger, okay? And this is the name of the function itself. So I hope I didn't mess that too much or didn't mess with your head too much. So what I don't want is to start coding and then see that I'm okay. It's 20 minutes. I think we are just going to end this here, or okay. Let me just go to routes, and I just forgot to add the other routes. So we are done with those, and we don't need to look back at them. Okay, so let's just add all these routes and finish stuff. So we don't have to come back and create each route when we, oh, so we have all that because it's the same for all the routes. For example, if I paste this one, so we're going to go to the post. We're going to handle a GET request, and we're going to require or need a parameter. In this case, the parameter is the ID. We need to specify a colon in order to say which parameter or that this is a parameter. Okay, in case if I say ID, then it's going to match this post ID, but this ID will not change, if you can understand that. Okay, so it's going to go to somewhere like, so in case you don't know this, it's going to go there, post ID. Okay, that specific route is what it's going to be looking for. But if I add a colon here, then it's going to say, okay, this is a variable. This is going to have different kind of characters. Let's call them like that. So it's, you can say ID 12, okay, or ID something like that. Okay, that this is something that the IDs are kind of generated with databases. Okay, so if we add a colon in front of this ID, then it's going to accept it as a variable, and it's going to say, okay, every time we match something like this post ID and followed by something, okay, then we're going to grab this route. It's just going to be the same with the post. Let me just copy this. As a second, sorry, I'm too dense right now. So I just wanted to record something to push all the videos I have in the queue. So that's why I'm kind of dense. So I mean, kind of enjoying my time without work, you know. So yeah, and it's the same with the post request. It's going to go to post edit, and it's going to expect this to change and not to be a constant, you know, not to be something like ID or I don't know, data or something specific. It's going to allow this to change, and every time we receive post edit with something in it, okay, as the ID, then we're going to hit this post. So let me just add the rest. Okay, let me just say that this, because we don't have the token middleware yet, although I added this, we will add them as we go with the authentication, but I don't even have the middleware folder. Okay, let's do something because it's been like 25 minutes, I think. let's do something. Let's create the new middleware. It's middleware with double D, right? Okay, middleware. And let's add the token handler inside that middleware. So the file is called token handler. So let's say token, not token, token handler.js. And let me just go to that file and let's just say constant token handler equals, and we will handle this later. Okay, so don't worry too much about this. We're just going to set it up. So we just plug everything there. Model exports equals token handler. Okay, so because right now their next routes, and let's just grab this, the next routes are going to need the token handler. So let me just go to post. No, this is not it. Okay, I just don't like that it overrides what I have opened. So I was on routes, right? Okay. So let me just add these ones. The create for the post, for the get, and the create for the post. Each one is going to have a token handler, okay, middleware. So we just say this constant token handler middleware is going to be whatever is inside the middleware token handler, okay? So, and this is how you will set a middleware. This function is going to execute before we go to the show create or any function we have here, okay? So this is how you create a middleware. It's pretty easy, actually. You just need to set a function, export that, go to the routes, and plug that in as a second parameter, okay? So it's going to trigger after it goes to the actual function of that route. And let's say the last one, router.get, delete with an ID. Okay, remember that this is a variable. This is how we define a variable inside the URL. And post controllers delete post. Okay, we have those functions in the controller already, so that's why it's not complaining. Let's close all this one, and this one, this one. Okay. So yeah, the other ones I'm going to handle. The other views I'm going to do those. I think we have 2 or 3. I think 2 more are going to be left undone. So we just do those as we go with those specific routes. So yeah, really I just wanted to make the end or the rest of the setup for this. So we have the post controller functions already plugged in, the out controller functions already there. We have the views, okay, most of these, and we have also all the routes. So we don't have to come back and add those routes as we go, since those it's the same for all the routes, okay? And the middleware that we are going to add. So this token handle middleware is going to handle the token if it's valid or not, and allow or disallow the user to go to the route. That's why it's before the route functionality, okay? But we will handle this later. Don't worry too much about that right now. Just think of what we did. Just adding the routes, plugging some views, checking how we're going to do the actions. Okay, so remember that the action is going to go to this /create. In this case, if is in the posts. So let's go to the routes and it's going to go to this post/create. Okay, just don't forget about that because that's pretty easy to mess up. And yeah, I think that should be all for this one, and we will continue. I don't know with what but we will continue in the next one, guys. So I think we're going to handle the registration. Sorry if I'm bunching a lot of this. Just that is my free time, so I'm just trying to do this fast. So thank you guys, and see you in the next one.